I'm Dr. Gail Kimball, author of a book on energy tools and director of Earth Haven Center for Spiritual Enrichment. Congratulations on taking time for exploration of your inner life. I'll share with you energy tools to develop your intuitive abilities, including how to be centered, how to be grounded, and how to have more energy to achieve your goals. These tools will enhance your enjoyment of daily activities. Visualizing images serves as a powerful way to harness your brain. I believe we attract what we focus on. We program ourselves like computer software and need to examine our core beliefs, such as about our self-worth. You've probably used your intuitive abilities throughout your life without naming them. Have you known who was calling you on the phone before you answered it? Have you felt someone looking at you from behind? Have you had a sense something was going to happen, and it did? As you learn to develop your intuition or your sixth sense, you'll experience more control over your life, more wellness, joy, and wisdom. First, let's experience the energy we use as our power source. Although we think of this body as solid, we're made of vibrating electromagnetic fields in the atoms that make up our bodies. For example, here's a photograph of my energy field and other blue ones. I'm a blue person of my energy field, and here's my son's for comparison. Intention is the secret to using energy. I'd like you to work along with this group who are new to these type of energy tools, so your questions and observations will be answered by them. We haven't rehearsed, as you'll see. I'll present 5 tools in this videotape, each followed by experiments for you to try. I've packed a lot into these tapes with the assumption that you'll view them more than once. And I'd like you to feel free to email me with your questions and observations to make this an interactive video. Now I'd like you to meet the group. We'll start with Harvey.
Hello, my name's Harvey.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn.
Hello, my name is Earl.
Hi, my name's Lupe.
Intention is the secret to using energy. Where you direct your focused attention, energy follows. To see this principle in action, make a pendulum with a bead and thread, or just use a necklace. We have our pendulums in hand, and what I'd like you to do is brace your pendulum on your knee and with your fingers so that you know that you're not moving it with your hands. And now I'd like this pendulum to move vertically, and I'd like it to move horizontally, and I'd like a really big swing to the right. Okay, and I'd like a really big swing to the left, nice big circle. All righty. Another experiment to feel energy is to imagine a ball of like a little gold sun between your hands and feel it expand. Just tell it to expand with your mind. And as you feel it expand and get warm, start pulling away a little bit with your hands, and it will feel kind of like taffy. And as it gets farther apart, it's like the taffy isn't there anymore. So that's something you can do with yourself to feel your own energy field. And with a partner, what I'd like the group to do is pair up and face each other with their palms like you're going to play patty cake. And what you're going to do is pick someone to receive and someone to send. And then the sender thinks either push or pull. And the receiver puts their awareness in their palms and gets a sense of being pulled or pushed. I think you'll be amazed at how much you can really feel just with the power of the mind. Let's start with Lupe and Earl. So Lupe, what did you sense?
He was pushing me at the beginning, and then I felt like he was pulling me.
And what were you intending to do, Earl?
Yeah, just that. I was pushing and then I was pulling.
Many cultures have recognized this subtle energy for thousands of years, giving it names like chi, ki, prana, or wakan. The mind-boggling principle of quantum non-locality tells us that if a pair of electrons are working together and then separated, and one is off to Australia and the other is here, if you change the spin on the one here, the other immediately matches the spin. So this means our beliefs about time and space are very limited, and there's something that allows instantaneous communication of information. We don't yet know how it works. As astronaut Edgar Mitchell said, there are no unnatural or supernatural phenomena, only very large gaps in our knowledge of what is natural. In our time, university-based scientists have conducted psi research, also called parapsychology. Using only their intention, they have speeded up and slowed down cell growth, like little petri dishes, and they've changed the pH of water. Physician Randolph Bird measured the positive effects on a group of hospitalized heart patients who received prayers for their healing, in comparison to a similar group of patients who didn't receive prayers. For example, the first group was 6 times less likely to require antibiotics in the hospital, although none of the patients knew who was receiving the prayers. Even the U.S. military employed clairvoyants such as Joseph McMoneagle during the Cold War to do what's called remote viewing of Soviet military sites. These people were able to draw amazingly accurate descriptions of places like underground missile silos. Dr. Dean Radin describes hundreds more studies in his book, The Conscious Universe, which demonstrates the amazing power of the human mind. You'll find other resources at the end of the video. I've built on the ideas developed by the late Louis Bostwick. With these tools, you can create the life you want. The primary tool is to be centered and calm. I think it's important to include the body in preparation for centering. So we're going to do a few kinesthesiology exercises. The first one is cross a wrist over a wrist, doesn't matter which. Put your fingers together like you did when you were a kid and fold them under your arms. And then I have my left on top, so I'm going to put my right ankle on top of my left ankle. And then we're going to breathe with our tongue on the roof of the mouth. So inhale. And exhale with the tongue on the floor of the mouth. We'll do this a few times. I don't know about you, but I always feel like my brain hemispheres do start integrating, and that's what this exercise is for. Let's do our ears now. And the reason for this is there's maybe 400 acupressure points in the ears. So this gives you a nice little treatment. You just rub the ears and do the lobe and inside the ears and notice if there's any sore spots. And if there are, you can think, good, I need a little work here. I was teaching a television class at the university, and I had my students do this, and they said, Gail, we're being televised all over Northern California. Do you really want us to do this?
Little monkey ears.
But this makes a difference. And let's do some taps. So let's tap on top of the head. You can do both hands or one. And say hello here and here. These are acupressure points that work on the meridians, so they help clear the meridians. You can thump your thymus, get your immune system going, and under the arms. The last thing we'll do is have a temper tantrum. And I'd like you to growl. So let's go. Good job. That's great. So anytime during the day when you start feeling a little fuzzy, you can do your ears and do your kinesthesiology and have a little temper tantrum, and it'll make you laugh. Another preparation for energy work is to stimulate your sense of humor. So what I suggest doing is starting a humor scrapbook with your favorite cartoons, photographs, jokes, whatever really tickles your funny bone when you look at it. And you might want to look at your humor scrapbook before you start doing your energy work. I also keep toys handy, like this kaleidoscope. I keep it in my car and my office, and you can also have bubble blowers, slinkies, silly putty. Seems like silly maybe, but it really is an enhancer of your daily life and reminds you to get in touch with your child self. To direct our intention, we need to be able to focus our thoughts and shut out programming from other people. So we'll create a command station to allow you to take control of your life. Your command station is in the center of your head, near the pineal and pituitary glands, behind the energy center, sometimes called the third eye. This is the place to get in touch with your clairvoyance, a French word meaning clear seeing. From this vantage point, we operate from clarity rather than emotional knee-jerk or defensive reactions. Think, be behind my eyes, and the group can do this now, and imagine a room of your own in the center of the head. It might be useful to put your fingers above your ears. Why don't you do this? And imagine a line connecting them, and a line from the forehead to the back of the head. And then where they cross perpendicularly, you create your room. You may need to pull this room down and back a little bit to a place where you feel centered. But this is home base. You always come back here. So when Harvey is pitching, he can think, be behind my eyes, find the room in the center of my head, and he'll have total control of that ball. You'll be able to really have control, to be clear, and have the enhanced power to make your goals happen here and now. With your imagination now, decorate your room just for you. And I'd like you to include a command chair in the center of the room. You might want to think of a pilot stepping into the plane, all those control panels. So as you sit in this chair, you're taking charge of your life. You could also imagine it as a massage chair. So as you sit here, you get a nice little massage on your back and your legs. And this will help you to relax and enjoy, have fun. So another fun thing to do is to sit in your command chair and imagine windows. And you can create the kind of view that you want. So oceans, mountains, a garden. And when you need a kind of calm place, you can imagine being in your garden and see the animals, the plants, the ponds. Feel that wonderful warm sun sending its rays through your head and entire body, giving you a great healing and restoration. You can take a seat by your pond and take a deep breath and let go of anything that's troubling you. Breathing is a very important part of centering. Again, it's paying attention to the body, not just the mind or the spirit. We tend to breathe from the upper lungs, and that doesn't do a really effective job because most of the oxygenation occurs in the lower lungs. So I'd like you to breathe now and feel your belly pooch out and your lower ribs move. And then let's breathe in on the count of 6. Hold 6. And then blow out like you're extinguishing a candle. Anytime during the day when you're feeling a little bit off-centered, remember your breathing. For fun now and to stimulate our imagination, what I'd like you to do is get out your crayons or your magic markers and your paper, and I'd like you to draw that room in the center of your head. So this room should be just for you. There should be no one else in there. So draw the room just for you. If anytime you find someone else in your room, you can imagine a great party outside and a magic carpet ride, just send them on out. If you're programmed to think you can't draw, then you can make a collage, cut it out for magazine photographs, and then you can post that drawing on your refrigerator as a reminder to be the driver of your car as it travels through your life path, rather than being directed by a bunch of backseat drivers telling you where to go. You can also add a jeweled crown and staff of office representing your authority as you sit in your chair. This can help at times when you feel like you're floating in and above your room rather than sitting solidly in your chair. Notice now where you are in relationship to your chair. Are you floating above it or solidly in it, owning it? Asking questions is a major clairvoyant tool as it evokes answers from your higher source of information, as if from a universal computer hard drive with infinite memory. So simply ask and see what comes to you. Other people's energy in your space is like putting leaded gas in a non-leaded gas tank, no matter how much you love them. Intimacy is into me, see, and requires some distance to see each other clearly. So if you're like this, you can't see each other. You need a little distance to have real intimacy. If you sense others in your room, create a wonderful happening outside and show them a great fun flying carpet ride. To clean out someone else's energy in your space, remember what you resist persists. Think of the woven tube toy. You may have had this when you were a child, where you put your first fingers in and they get stuck when you pull on them, but they easily slide out. Yeah, I relaxed. If you relax. Release what you're ready to let go of down a laundry chute from the floor of your room. Or you can think of a firefighter's pole and let it go down. You'll create additional visualization techniques as you practice these tools daily. If you can't think clearly, or you can't go to sleep, or you have a headache, put your awareness back in the center of your head. The common tendency is to disconnect or disassociate when we feel upset, attacked, bored, or overwhelmed. We've all read a page without a clue about what it said, right? Or bumped into furniture or spaced out when we were driving. It takes practice to remind yourself to be in your command chair in the room in the center of your head. So you can just touch your forehead and remind yourself, be behind my eyes. It will be much easier to steer your day in the direction you want it to go. What I'd like to do now is to see if the group has questions, observations, and then I'll do a little clairvoyant reading of what I see in their heads.
Gail, I have a question. When I was in my room, I couldn't be by myself. There seemed to be like 3 or 4 other people and my dog in my room. What should I do about that?
I think that it's important to realize that you can love people without having them right next to you. So think of that principle that real intimacy requires some kind of distance so that you can really appreciate them. Because if they're like this, you can't really appreciate them for all the infinite varieties of the aspects of who they are. So if there's a habit in your family with your friends of being enmeshed like that, it's going to take time to change it. Mm-hmm. But I think if you remember the principle of the tube toy, you don't want to go, get out of my room, I don't want anybody in here. You think, what do these people really like? They like food. So imagine a great dinner party out there. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it works to really define your energy field around your body and put satellite dishes or mirrors so that they kind of bounce off if they're still want to get that enmeshed. Okay. Does that help at all?
That makes sense.
So it's very important to be in amusement.
Okay.
So energy tools work much better when you're amused because that creates flow. It's like the oil that greases the bearings in a machine.
Okay.
Thanks.
I have a question too, Gail. There's times when I go up into the center of my head and I really don't have much clairvoyance. I don't really see myself there, but I can kind of feel myself there or perceive myself there. What's the difference between that? Or is that good enough to be able to just feel myself up?
That's a really good question. These tools are kind of geared towards seeing things, but they don't have to be. Everybody has their own particular acuity or skill. It's just like some people have really good pitch, or some people have really good tactile sense. We all have different senses, and one isn't better than the other. So whatever works for you is great. So if you have a sense that I'm empowered, I'm centered, I'm calm, I'm in control, I'm directing my life, however you know that that's happening, fine. There's no premium on visual skills, although I hope that you'll develop those in time because it's quick and it's clear.
Yeah.
With this tool, you can experiment by eating food while you're in your room in the center of your head, and then eat food while you go out. You can imagine being in your favorite tropical paradise like Tahiti or Hawaii, and then notice how the food tastes. I think you'll find it tastes better when you're in your head. So as you go through your day, be aware of how in or out you are and how it affects your enjoyment of your day. The next tool is how to energize, how to replenish your energy. You might want to use this mid-afternoon during a busy day. We'll practice this by imagining filling in with rays from a gold sun. But first, I'd like to see if your humor is ready to go. Okay. So why don't you shut your eyes and imagine a gold sun a couple of feet above your head. Fill it with gold until it feels full and radiant. Then you can imagine a magnet in your head, big, strong, powerful magnet, and let it pull your energy back from where it's been scattered on your desk, with bills, relationships. Let that magnet pull it back from wherever your life force energy has been stuck in the past, as with regrets, or where it's out in the future with your lists of tasks to do. The sun acts as a filter, so when it releases liquid gold into your body, your energy is purified. So now that your sun is full, your magnet has called back any of your energy scattered on your desk or wherever, then imagine unzipping the sun or putting a little hole in it or pouring it out like maple syrup on pancakes, and let that gold sun energy flow down to the top of your head. Let it melt through the top of your head, down through your brain, connecting your left and right brain, working together just as they're supposed to be working, activating that pineal gland and the clairvoyant center in the forehead. Then let it flow down through your neck, across your shoulders and down your arms and out your hands. You might feel it kind of tingling or warm like you felt in the push-pull exercise we did earlier in the video. Then let it flow down through your torso and back. So from your waist up, you're full of liquid gold. All the trillions of cells in your body are absorbing this gold light, using it to heal, energize, revitalize, have joy in being alive and all the mysteries that unfold. From the waist, allow the gold sun energy to flow down through your whole pelvic area. Let gravity take it down through your thighs, through the knees, through the calves, the feet, and any extra goes down into the earth. And as usual, you can put today's date and your name in the sun to remind yourself to operate in the present, which is where your goals are achieved, not in the past or in the future, and your name to claim it for yourself. And then the experiment for this tool is to practice putting different colors and goals in your sun, such as clarity, abundance, and love, and see how your day goes if you don't ground and use gold suns. Just experiment with doing it and not doing it. My Earth Haven students and I really find things go much more smoothly, and we have a lot more fun if we use these tools. So remember, we visualize an image such as a sun to focus our intention and direct energy flow to achieve goals. The next tool is how to ground. Grounding connects you to the Earth's energy and adds power to the calm you feel when you're centered. Another use of grounding is to release what you're ready to get rid of. This could be old habits, limiting beliefs, other people's negative feelings, or pain you've absorbed from others in your efforts to help them. As you prepare to ground, sit in a chair with your feet on the floor. And remember, humor is like the oil that allows gears to engage and work smoothly. Doing energy work is fun because you're not limited by time or space. Decide to be in the center of your energy field, the aura, nurtured by it all the way around your body, from head to feet. You could imagine this like a bubble around your body, and you could have a paintbrush and outline the bubble with a paintbrush around your body. So look and see with your imagination if it's clearly outlined, no leaks, holes, tears, rents. You want a clear bubble, an outline of around your field. And then be in your command chair in the center of your head. Feel that chair on your body. And now the new thing is put your awareness on the base of your spine. So way down at the base of your spine. And we're going to work here with the first chakra. Chakra is a Sanskrit word for spinning wheel of light. Chakras act as transformers of subtle energy into channels, the meridians, the highways that run through the physical body. Keeping these subtle energy systems flowing without blocks is the secret to good health and vitality. And we'll talk more about them later. The first chakra has to do with feeling safe in the world. So imagine sending down a laser beam from the base of your spine deep into the center of the planet. Or you can imagine a heavy boat anchor lowering down into the earth, kind of a winch, lowering it down bit by bit deep into the earth. And then use this as a line of communication between your body and the earth. Once you have this clear line along that communication that you've created, imagine a tree trunk, a big taproot, a huge pipe, a waterfall, whatever you like. If you want to get your amusement level up, you can make monkeys holding on to each other's tails, or pink flamingos with their necks wrapped around each other. You can use any images that work for you or amuse you. Use this grounding pipe to be strengthened by contact with the earth. Then you can imagine a little button, and as you push it, you release whatever you're ready to let go of down your grounding pipe. This is kind of like pulling the plug on a bathtub of tepid water. So you've had your bath and it's time for that dirty water to go down the drain. Same thing with push the button and release whatever you're ready to clear. You don't have to know what it is. You just set the command, release. Any old stuff that I've been carrying around with me that limits me, I'm ready to let go of. Let the earth take it, recycle it. The more grunge, the more Mother Earth likes it. Makes it really good compost. As part of your clairvoyant development, imagine a screen in front of your face, your own personal video screen. And then ask to see your grounding pipe on your screen. If at any time you don't see something, to get past the literal, analytical left brain, then just tell yourself, pretend, if I were seeing my grounding pipe, what would it look like? This helps connect you to the right brain and overcomes all the time we heard as children, it's just your imagination, don't pay any attention to it. But in fact, your imagination is a very powerful creative force. Don't expect your imagination or clairvoyance to be as vivid as what you see with your ocular vision, your eyes. It's usually much more subtle. Sometimes it's just like seeing something out of the corner of your eye. You think, was that a cat over there that I saw? And yeah, it was. Trust your first impression, no matter how faint. And if you keep asking questions about that first impression, the images or the senses that you're getting, you'll get answers. An Earl's grounding cord. There's a lot of movement in there. And I like the sense of play. That's good. You can make it a little bit deeper. Really put your name on it. And Lupe's grounding cord. It's a good release. Really releasing a lot of stuff. That's great. So I'm seeing kind of gray energy go down. And that's terrific that you're letting go of that. And remember, whenever you do a lot of releasing, you really want to bring in big gold sun. And you can put whatever color you want in the sun. Rather than seeing your grounding pipe, it may be easier for you to get information by sensing it. Just feel, is it solid, intact, deep? Or you might have an intuitive knowing about it. Just a sense that, yes, it's doing what it should be doing, or no, I should drop it and create a new one. Or you might hear an inner voice that's giving you answers to your questions. Just listen to that inner voice. When you're clairvoyantly reading energy, the first question to ask is, what color is it? Sometimes it helps to visualize bright neon stripes or jewels around the side of the grounding pipe to see it better. Look on your screen. Make sure the pipe is wide around as your hips, has clear definition, and goes straight down without any blocks in it. If it doesn't feel strong to you, don't try to fix it. Just let it go and create a new one using your intention. To experiment, we'll try an exercise with a partner, and what we'll do is pair up, and one person will ground or unground and not tell the other person, and then their partner will give them a little push on the shoulders, and it will be really clear whether they're grounded or ungrounded. And if you're by yourself, you can practice grounding and ungrounding by walking on a narrow board or riding a bike or skiing. You'll find a big difference if you think ground, unground in your balance and sense of stability. As you practice, grounding will become a habit and a useful tool for dealing with stress, as well as doing clairvoyant work. You can also ground your vehicle, parking places. My students always find parking places, so do I. You can ground your room, wherever you spend time, ground it, fill it with gold suns. You can ground your projects. So if you have taxes due and you've been putting them off, just think, put a grounding cord on those stack of records, and you'll get to it. You can ground your goals. So you can also create a grounding pipe for your car. That's a good thing to do, especially when you're on the freeway, the expressway. You can ground your room, your desk. If you have an ache or a pain in your body, you can imagine putting a grounding pipe right in the center of where it's uncomfortable, and then let that tension and block just release out into the earth. The next tool is using roses as an extremely versatile energy tool and a basis for clairvoyant reading. Feel free to substitute your own image. Roses are the most flexible image I know of. Add pictures of roses to your humor scrapbook and buy yourself a rose, like this one, as a gift for cultivating your intuition. Practice creating roses in rainbow colors on your reading screen. So let's do that now. You can be in the center of your head, be behind your eyes, look at this video screen or however you see it in front of your face, and imagine a rose. So you can look at the rose that you're holding if that helps, or you can create a rose that you like and see its color and its shape, the length of the stem, any dewdrops, and you can rotate it in your mind so you see it from various angles. Admire the details of your creation. I'm doing this so that you'll have practice sending your intention, seeing what you want to see when you want to see as a symbol for information. You'll see what I mean in a minute. We'll now learn 5 different ways to use roses as energy tools. First one is roses can be used to define your boundaries and absorb other people's negativity before it enters your energy field. So you might want to shut your eyes and imagine these roses all the way around your field. So maybe arm's length all the way around, and tuck them under your feet, over your head, behind, in front. These roses you might want to also put grounding cords on to help in the clearing process. And putting these kind of boundary roses around your field will help you feel fresh after a day being around groups of people. To clear out old roses, you can imagine firecrackers, bombs, or internal combustion. Blow them up and then create new ones. You can also use your imagination to put up mirrors or satellite dishes to bounce off uncomfortable stuff coming your way. So it doesn't have to be someone sending negative thoughts. It could just be someone who's very needy and needs a lot of healing, and then you want to absorb their pain to make them feel better. So really good idea to have boundary roses whenever you're with groups of people. Then another use of roses is to clear your own emotions, patterns that you're ready to let go of. Let's say you have a critical inner voice that too often says, I can't, I don't deserve, I shouldn't. Imagine a rose out in front of you, and you can put a magnet in it that's very powerful, or you can think of it as a vacuum cleaner. Use it to suck out any restrictions, limitations, negative patterns that you're ready to let go of. So just imagine the rose with a magnet, absorbing what you're ready to let go of. And then see the rose fill up, feel it fill up, hold it out away from your body and explode it. And the reason we do this business of blowing up roses, it just clears the slate. It's like erasing a chalkboard. It's a good idea to use these roses, blow them up throughout the day to clear your field. If you feel a little fuzzy, you can remind yourself to be in the center of your head, see roses, blow them up, create new ones, bring in gold suns. You'll see a big difference. So we know that growth is accompanied by change, which often requires getting rid of old habits. And this is a good way to do it. You can also use roses to create the atmosphere in the rooms where you spend a lot of time. As you enter the room or as you're driving to work or school or home, decide what color it needs. For example, if it feels a little blah, you can create red roses in the room, or people in the room need a little healing, you can create green or the calming green or blue. If you want to create a romantic scene, then pink, rose. But I think you'll find a big difference if you use roses in your rooms to create an atmosphere, a vibration, and you can also use your grounding cord first to clear anything from the room. A fun way to use a rose is to find an answer to a question, to find out what's good for you or what's not. So you might want to think about a question such as, should I move? Should I take this job? Can I trust this person? Is this a good relationship for me to be in? So why don't you shut your eyes now and see your screen, blow some roses on it to clear it. Just create a rose, blow it up, create a rose, blow it up. And then imagine a rose on your screen, and as you ask your question, keep your eye on that rose. If it's true, the rose will stay bright. If it's false or not helpful, the rose will wilt or disappear. Let's try it with the group. So I'm going to ask you a question. You can see, look on your screen and see if it's true or not. Here's the question. I don't talk about this very much, but one of my secret joys in life is shopping in malls. I really get a lot of kicks out of shopping in malls. So what did your roses do?
Died.
Earl?
I go into that place where I don't know, I just can't get the clairvoyance going. So I was working with a meter, and I thought my meter went over to true.
A meter's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
What I noticed is that my rose started wilting before you had, just as you started asking the question, like before you had even said it, it just went, oh.
Before you even knew what the question was.
Mhm.
That's called extrasensory perception. Yeah, great, good.
I asked myself a question before you even asked us a question, and about trusting somebody, and immediately like turned black and died. So I guess that's a good indicator.
Is your sense that that's an accurate answer?
Yeah.
It can be a good confirmation.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do something just based on this. I mean, if your common sense tells you no. To review, you can use roses to clear out, to establish boundaries, set the tone of a room, and get answers to your questions. You'll invent other uses for roses. But always follow blowing up roses by filling in with a gold sun, all that light flowing from head to toe. We'll use the last tool in this video to achieve goals, again using visualization to harness the power of the mind. Think of a short-term goal that you haven't yet achieved. It could be as simple as finding something you lost, like keys or whatever, or doing well on a test. So please imagine a big helium balloon out in front of you on your reading screen. And then you can shut your eyes and see the balloon on your screen through imagination. And I'd like you to please write the goal in words in the balloon. If it's something that is an object, you can see a picture. Like if you want a car, you could put the picture of the car there. If you want an A on the test, you can see the A marked on the paper. Put the feeling, yes, I got that A, yes. So please add the feeling attached to achieving that goal. Some people think it's most effective to be as specific as possible when you're defining your goal, as when describing the kind of relationship you want. And other people, and I'm one of them, think that it's wiser to say the right partner for me at this time. There's things that our conscious minds just aren't aware of. Put today's in a balloon so that you're operating in present time rather than the future. And put your name in it, as we've done throughout the tape, to own it for yourself. Then create a grounding cord on the balloon. So just imagine it connected to the earth. Make the decision, the command. Just release anything down that cord that gets in the way of your goal. You don't have to know what it is, just tell it release. Just like when you're using your personal grounding cord on the base of your spine. If you're curious, you can look on your reading screen and ask to see what you're releasing, what color it is, where it came from, but that's not necessary. All right? Then the next thing is to fill the balloon with amusement. You can think of that as a color, you can think of it as tickles and sparkles and smiley faces, whatever makes you laugh. And make sure the balloon is filled 100% with amusement. You can think about a time that you were laughing with your friends so hard that no one could stop cracking up. One person would say 2 words and everybody would just burst into laughter. Put that kind of amusement into the balloon, 100%. Then this is really important to do because, as we know, amusement creates the lubricant for forward motion. You might see amusement as a colored liquid or sparkles. Just make sure that the balloon is 100% full. Do the same thing with enthusiasm for the goal. So you might see enthusiasm as a color or kind of a texture. Fill your balloon 100% with enthusiasm. And then fill it with a gold sun. The last step is to release that balloon. It's helium, so let's get rid of it. Let it go off to do its work. Good job. One more step. On your screen, ask to see a gauge that goes from 1 to 100. You could see this as a thermometer, you could see it as a speedometer on your car, or you can just see the numbers 1 to 100. I'm going to ask you a question, and you're going to see the percentage light up or be underlined or circled, or you'll hear it in your inner voice, see it, whatever your particular gift is. So the question is this: how much permission do I really give myself to achieve this goal? And I'd like you to shout out what number lights up for you. What number do you get?
30.
75?
62.
What you do if it's not at 100 is right now get out your little imaginary scrubber and scrub it up 10%. And then tomorrow, get out your scrubber, scrub it up 10%. Do that just 10% each day till you're at 100. And the reason we do this is so that your body can gradually get used to allowing you to really receive this goal. You can also use this gauge to quantify answers. So you can ask, how good is this job for me? I want to see it on a scale of 1 to 100. 40, that's not a great job. 75, that would be a job that I would look at more carefully. Finally, take action, as God helps those who help themselves. If your keys are missing, see where you're drawn to look for them. I always find my keys within 10 minutes doing this mock-up. If you're looking for a job, read want ads and network every day. So if you follow these steps, I think you'll be pleasantly surprised at what falls into your lap. If put into use, these energy tools are transformative. As you change and grow, it's easier if people around you understand something about what you're doing and hopefully also practice grounding and centering. I'd really like to hear about your experiences and questions. You can email me at this address, earthhavenchico@hotmail.com. We'll look forward to seeing you for the next program where we'll explore your clairvoyant abilities.